Okay, so guys, yeah, it's been a long time, so it's been a while. So let's just go through this task. Being down, kind of ill, so I've not been able to keep up with the task and stuff. All right, so this task to do the pointer arrays and strings. Okay, so there's a kind of relationship between these three, especially pointer to arrays and strings. Okay, so basically, pointer can when you declare an array or a string, pointer can help you kind of manipulate the content of that array and string without changing the array and string itself. You get, you know, like we have a box, okay, in a container, and you want to kind of change the arrangement of the box of what is inside the box without opening the box and stuff like that. So pointer will help you do all those kind of stuff magic. Okay, so let's dive into it. So you want to go through this resource. So this one talks about pointer more, and then this one just talks about data structure, about how data are stored, while data has to be in an arranged manner in order for them to be called and used. Okay, so and then we have just short stuff about array pointer and strings and memory layouts. Memory layout, I can't really remember what's there. Anyway, I think these three are important for now, but you can still go through this one as well. So if you go through them, that doesn't give you guarantee of being able to solve this task. Okay, so you should still. It's just going to give you idea, and with the idea is all you need, right? So the quiz part. So what is the value of n after the following code is executed? Okay, so you have n to be 98, right? And then this pointer points to the address of n, and then p is 402. Okay, p is 402. So this p does not affect this. This p does not affect this guy over here. So the answer is 98. Okay, it does not affect. If a star was here, okay, then it means that since this one is pointing to n, then the star would dereference n and give it this value. Okay, all right. So an array that contains five what's it called? Let me call it back. What is the size in memory of the variable ARM? Since it's an integer takes 4 bytes, okay, and is storing um, let's say five value or five variables of five content of int, right? So 5 times 4 is 20. So this one says, what is the size of the pointer to a character, right? To a char. Okay. Basically, a pointer used to take 8 bytes for most stuff, but because it stores 8 bytes, if you are pointing to a character, you still have to declare a pointer to the character. If you are pointing to an integer, you still have to put int in the pointer and stuff like that. Okay. What is the value of n after the following code? As you can see, um, okay, this one just say p plus plus, so it's not equal to anything. So n is still 98. And in this one we declare the function. Remember this guy taking 20 bytes, right? So what is the equivalent of is this equivalent what is the equivalent of typing uh to this, right? So um, this one is just this one, and basically this one is pointing to arr plus 2. It's pointed to both. Okay. This one is just pointing to this guy. It's just it's like dereferencing. Okay, this one is for both. So the difference. the process of getting the value that is stored in the memory location pointed to a pointer is called dereferencing. Is what we've been talking about. So dereferencing a pointer would help you get the content. So what happens when one tries to access an illegal memory? It's called segmentation fault. Okay, when you are pointing to a variable that has not been declared. Okay, so you are pointing just you don't know where you are pointing to. It's called segmentation fault. Okay, so let me bring this guy closer. All right. So is it possible to declare a pointer to a pointer? Yes, it is possible. And for that one, use two star, two asterisks, two multiplication sign. Okay, pointer to a pointer. You can. If you have a variable called var of type int, how can we? So the name of the variable is var, and then it is an integer. So how can we get its address? Address is just ampersand of var. Okay, so it's this one. Sorry, no, this one. Okay, and then let's continue. This thing is long. What is the enable to print an address percent %p? Okay, what is the value of n after? As you can see, this one has 4 is star here, so it means that n will take the value of 4 to, like I explained in the beginning, right? So what is the size of a pointer to an integer? Okay, like I said, pointer will take 8 bytes all the time, most times, right? But an int will still, you still have to use the pointer, must still have uh, int to be the variable type, okay, the data type, if it's pointing to an int. And then the last question, what is the value of n after the following code is executed? So n is still 98, right? So this one is just pointing to n, okay, and nothing is being done to change the value of n, so it will still be 98. So I've already done this task. I think it took probably 4 days to complete because I was doing them, getting busy. Even I think there's another task out now, and I haven't been doing them. I haven't done them. So once I do them, I will try and explain, break it down, so it can help you in case you've been dubbing so far. Because I know a lot of people actually do copy. So I'm just trying to make sure you, even if you're copying, you still tend to understand one or two things. So in case you are going back to review them, it's going to be quite easy for you um, to get your answer or get how it is done. Okay, so I think this one is kind of simple. So I've done the code, so I'm going to be showing you, explaining everything done in the code, right? So we have write a function takes a pointer takes a pointer to an int as a parameter and update the value it points to 98. So the pointer is pointing to an integer, okay, and then you change the value, okay, to 98. So if you look at the main.h, what they did is that function that you create, I think, let me see, they gave int to be 402, okay, so that 402, they printed it out here, okay, they now pass it to their function, okay, when they passed it, it has changed the value to 98 when they print it out, okay. So basically is what we did in I think one of those tasks, okay. So what was done here is that, yeah, this is it. They've already declared 98. So you just put a pointer to point to that, um, to point to this guy, and then you dereference it and give it your own value. Okay. So this is what they gave you. Okay. So you are going to do int, as this one is int, create a pointer, and then it's going to point to this n with the address, okay, and then you come and dereference p here and give it the value you want to give it. They say it should be, Okay, so that's what we want to do here. Okay, so that's the idea in solving this guy. So basically, let me just, so this is the prototype and then this is the main. As you can see, 0 reset 98, and then when you compile it, the output will be 0 dash 98, and then when you run it, you have this because of this. So basically, what you do is you put this one in the main.h, right? Okay, you put this code in main.c, that's 0 main.c, that's yes. Then what else? Then you create your file in this guy, 0 resets. Okay, so let's go to our sandbox and see what we can do. What was I doing here? Anyway, let me reload. Oh, I'm not connected to the internet. Okay, let me just try. Okay, so yeah, so I'm connected now. 0x0, sorry, ALX low level, right? And 0x05, right? So I'm there. So the first one is so what I did basically is I created, if I do ls-a, you see some more hidden files. So I created this dot git ignore. Okay, so if I cat dot git ignore, okay, why is this not pressing? I think it has frozen again, or this network is gonna, this is why I don't want to kind of record while I'm coding, because the network is always bad. I don't know why. It's not like my network is bad, but it just, the sandbox just keeps hanging like like crazily. I don't know. Okay, I know where to show you. I know what to do. If it keeps hanging, I'm just going to go to GitHub and show you the code so you can see. So I did ls-a. You're going to see I have this dot git ignore, and then if I open my dot git ignore, okay, let me pass it to less. Okay, so you see that inside I created some things I don't want git to push, which are all my main.c, 0 1 2 3 4 like that, to 101 main.c. Let me scroll down to the next buffer. Okay, 101 does not have a main.c. Okay, and then the compiled name, I didn't push them as well. Okay, so that's what this one contains. Okay, I think it has frozen again, and this thing is going to waste our time. All right, good. Okay, so you do q to exit down. So the first code is 0 reset, right? So let me cut it. I don't want to, let me just, because if I vi it now, let me just cut it. Cut 0 reset. Let's see. Let me pass it to less. This thing is freezing. Okay, so it's actually freezing, and it's freezing. So what I did is I actually did all those that I explained, all those things I explained. I did it. It didn't work, right? So then I just dereferenced it directly. Since this guy is already pointing to whatever integer it is, right? Is already pointing it to it. So I just came here and then dereferenced it, gave it 98. Okay, so this guy is pointing to a string already, right? It's pointing to that string, probably a number or an integer rather. It's pointing to a variable, an int. So the int is holding one value, so it's pointing, and then this one would point and hold the address of that int, and then with just this you'll be good to go. Okay, so you just create that one. That's for the first one. Okay, so that's that. So for the second task, this one say write a function that swap the value of two integers. Okay, so this one is pointing to the first integer, this guy is pointing to the second integer, right? So we want to give this one to this one to this, like it swaps the value, right? Okay, so basically when a is 98, b is 42. Okay, so ab, right, and ab. So you will see ab is 98 42, now is 42 98. So in order to do this, what I did is um, the value of a, I poured it out in another container. You know, A is like a container, B is like a container. So when I poured the value of this one inside a separate container first, okay, an empty container. So this one does not have value. Then I pass this value to it, okay. So this one is not holding this value, and B does not have value. So that one that I declared at first, where I put A, then I poured it inside B. So it's as simple as that. So that's what I did, and if you look at it, what's the name of the file? So you can test it, just do your main.c. If you watch the previous video, I think you know how to test. Um, so one swap.c, that's what we want to do. And if I cut, you see this thing has frozen. Okay, okay, it has even disconnected. I don't know why it keeps disconnecting. I'm tired of all this nonsense. So what I will do is, let me go to GitHub and show you the codes. No, I didn't use this account, so let me just share. Okay, good. I'll just share it to you with GitHub. Since that guy doesn't want to have sense, that is why, like, it has been actually frustrating to be working online like that. What I could do is I could use my uh, if you are facing something like this and you need to explain, what you need to do is, probably if you have Vagrant, you can pull your repository to your local machine, which is a Vagrant, and then I could explain from there. But Vagrant as well, the color, like for my PC, the color is kind of weird. Yeah, so this is the account using for this course, and let's see. Okay, so as you can see, it's been 8 hours ago, some are 9 hours. And you see, this one's are 3 days ago, this one's are 9 hours ago. Alright, so uh, this one was pushed by mistake, right? Yeah, I think one swap does C. These two were pushed by mistake. Okay, a function that swapped two integer, right? So what we did is we had an integer called empty. Okay, so this is an integer, right? Because I want to create this guy. You know, this a, right? I gave it the value of b, but the thing is, I first look at this place first. Okay, so what I did is this a, this I declared one c. Okay, so I passed the value of a into c, right? So a is empty, so I pass the value of b into a, and then since C is containing A now, B is now containing C. If you have questions concerning this one, just let me know, okay? So the thing is, I cannot dereference a pointer without showing what it points to. So this one is for the C, okay? So I just created an int. Shut up. So I just created an int for this C to called, and then the variable name is called empty. Then I make it point to empty, right? and then I dereferenced it with the value of A, and then I gave B the value of A, and then like that. Okay, because if you do this thing alone, you're going to get segmentation fault from this guy, because this guy has not been declared and you are trying to change the value of it. You understand? So basically that's what that does. And then if you do this, you'll be fine. Okay, so let's go to the next one. I don't know, this one just keep doing rubbish. Thank God we have guitar. You would have just make us lose. Look at keeps on doing rubbish. Nonsense. Anyway, let's go to the next one. So this one says write a function that returns the length of a string, right? So if you have a string, this one is pointing to that string, and then with this guy we can manipulate whatever is inside that string. Okay, so there's a function that does that. String length. Okay, strlen. Strlen is a function that you will use normally if you are declaring your string.h, and then with string.h you can access all these stuffs, right? So the string.h, and then you put your string variable name or the pointer to that string, right? And it's going to actually tell you the length. Okay, but you have to do it yourself. Okay, so what I did in almost, I think only the last code that actually has the standard library, and I know so many people use standard library for this task, but I made sure I didn't use any standard library. Okay, and then you see through it. Okay, so write a function that returns the length of a string. So we have this string, right? Okay, so we have this string, and then uh, if you look at the main.h, right? So this one they passed it a string, my first string length, and then when they pass this is the str, right? So str is pointing to something. So when they pass str to your function that you declare, okay, so this len will be holding it, right? So when they did len, and then len will show you the length of this str, right? And then it's 16, right? If you count this, it should give you 16. Okay, so basically you write a function that once they pass this my first into it, and then you execute it to give you 16. Okay, so to do that, you can just get a pen and paper and then just draft something out. Then you code. Then you see you are going to make so many errors. You'll be close to the answer, and then with time you get it. Okay. So the thing is, for this one, let me see. What did I do? What's the name of the function? To strlen.c. Let's see if this guy will open again. He's not even typing. So let's just go to this guy. To strlen.c. So let's go to this guy. Okay, it said, okay, I think the network has disconnected. Why is this thing disconnecting now? What's wrong with this thing? I'm tired, I swear. Is it MTN? Or is it the system, or is it the phone? I don't even know what's wrong. Okay, so for this guy, what I did is okay, so at the end of a string you always have a null, right? So in case you don't know, you know now. Okay, so if you have a string is just I wish I could type. Let me see if this guy will read and I could type here. So it's just wasting my time. Anyway, a string is just something like, okay, like this question we have. Okay, so this is a string, right? So at the end of this string there's always one character called the null. Okay, so that null will make the computer know that this string has end. Once it come across that null is called end of string as well, right? So basically, with for since we know where it's going to end, and we know where it's going to start, which is string at 0. Okay, we can use it to count. Okay, so that's what we did. And then what I did is, so we declare the function, you put this one in your main.h, don't forget. So int total length, right? So int total length, so we declared a variable called total length, right? I'm the one that gave this name, so you can give it just I if you want. Guy, I didn't say you should open. Okay, so I said the total length, I initialize it to be 0, because if you want to use a while loop, you have probably I from I equals to 0, right? If you are using for loop, you put it here, I equals to 0, and then you put the condition, and then you put I plus plus. Okay, so this one is representing my I now, so I'm starting from 0. Okay, so I want to iterate this thing. I will say from 0. Okay, it should count till it get to till it is not equal to that null. This thing is that null that I say ends the string, right? So till it is not equal to that, you should keep counting, right? So I'm doing a loop that would go, and then this plus plus will keep increasing this number. Okay, so as far total length is 0, so it will continue increasing total length until it meet up with this guy, and then it will not count. Okay, so s total length is what, it will continue, and then it should return the total length. So once it continues, the as it's increasing, okay, I would keep increasing. So see this total length as I. So if I is 0 here, right, and then it come again, I is 1, and it come again, I is 2. Let's say the length is, probably this is the string you are doing, 3, right? So when I is 3, and then when you want to get to I is 4, it's not going to run. Okay, so your I value will be probably 3 here, and then it will return 3. Okay, so basically that's just it. It's as simple as that. If you get out of here. Alright, so let's go to the fourth one. So this one says write a function that prints strings followed by a new line to the standard output. Okay, I think I did this one the seconded line. Okay, so we have this string, right? So this is the prototype, and then we have this char declared, and this str is pointing to char. So with this str, we can manipulate whatever this guy is being pointed to, right? So a function that will print a string, it will print all the string followed by a new line, right? Okay, so let's see. So as you can see, this is the string, it printed everything and a new line. Okay, so what we did is, so we put the put function. Okay, so the put function will help you, put used to help print string. Now we've used put before from beginning. Okay, so you are now creating your own put function. Okay, so to create your own put function that will print string, what are you going to do? So this one is called 3puts.c. Okay, so let's go. I'm still going to come to this guy. I opened it down because of one particular task. Okay, so 3, let me go. So 3puts.c. So a function that prints string followed by a new line to standard output. Okay, so we have this guy, and then so I use the for loop here. So I declared that I, and then I gave that I equals to 0, right? And then as far as this string is pointing to this probably str, right? We just, okay, so str at index I, showing that the first, so I is 0, so it means this place will be 0, right? So it means from 0 till the end, it's going to go from 0 to the end, and then when it gets, so it's going to keep, and then it's going to keep increasing. So we use this underscore put char because we've declared it before, right? So you put this underscore put char function in your 0x05. Okay, so it will help it print its character by character. Okay, okay, So what it does is stri. So this one will print xti r0, str1, till it meets this guy, and it's not going to print it. So it will keep printing, and at the end of the printing, it will print a new line. Okay, so it's as simple as that. Let's go to the next one. Okay, so this one, I think secondary line as well. Wow, 30 minutes so fast. All right, write a function that prints a string in reverse. Okay, so this one, what we're going to do is we are going to do like the other one, but the thing is, um, if you have a string like Isaac, okay, let me see if I can use this place to explain that guy. Oh, it's personal. Oh, it's not. It's person. Oh, good, good. So if you have a string like good, oh, it has stopped pressing. It is very slow. It is very slow. Okay, so I want it to give me error. Okay, so keep track of this good, right? So I have a string called good. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, um, let me say I have a string called good. Okay, so I would declare, let me just open the file. I think that would help me because this guy is making it slow. Because I've zoomed now, it's big. For print ref.c. So let's go to for print ref.c. Okay, so for print ref.c, and then with this guy, see, I've disconnected. That's why it's on. And it's still on. As you can see, it's still on. Why is it disconnecting? Like, and it is automatically there to connect. Why? Why are you disconnecting? I'm tired of this thing. Like while coding, it gives you a lot of stress. So you have to just do your work offline and then push it online. Alright, so this one is going to print in reverse, and what we did is, or what I did rather, remember this guy is going to do the counting for you. Okay, so it's going to count. So basically, what after we've counted how many stuff we have, right? We've put it here. This one will be this a will now be storing the value of what's it called? It will store the value, the length of the string, right? So if the string is 12, so what we did now is, okay, so uh, sometimes people don't use this guy, they use the string length function, and then they include the standard and the string.h here. Okay, and the main.h. Okay, to get this guy. Okay, so basically the the assumption is that when you use string length, it will count this guy as well. Okay, so in order to run our code, we will need to subtract the one from it, right? Okay, so we need to subtract one from it. But anyway, so what we then do is, okay, so we are going to be printing it one by one, right? But in reversed mode, right? So we are going to do what we did the last time, but this time around, instead of we'll start from that kind of null character, and then we'll print it backward, right? So we said that a minus minus, as far as a is greater than or equal to 0. Okay, okay, so it's going to go as far as is greater than or equal to 0, and then a minus minus. Okay, if I run this code, I think I'll be able to explain properly why I have minus minus here. I can't remember why I put it there, but I think I first run it and then it didn't work, and I had to decrement this guy, and I think it's because of this null I had to reduce it by 1, but I can't really remember why. But this is basically the code, and this is how it works. So yeah, something like that. So let's go to the next one and let's see. So this one is too. Oh, sorry. Write a function that reverse a string. Okay. So this one, look at the question again. This one is what? It prints a string in reverse, followed by a new line. And then this one is what? A function that will reverse a string. So if you look at this guy, they, they pass this guy to it and then it prints it backwards, right? I do. I do. Okay. So let's see the new one. This one too, my school. My school. Right? But I think there's a difference between this one. Where is it? Where? I did not feel the lack of. I think someone is calling me. I'm trying to make sure the person doesn't disturb me. Someone is at the gate and the person is shouting at me. Anyway, person will be fine. So, yeah, I wanted to explain something. Okay, so we have this one. I do not fear computer. I do not fear computer. Blah 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 like that. Okay, and then this one. I think the same. I think they are different. I can't remember. I think it was this one I was trying to explain there, which wasn't. Okay, five reverse string, right? So let's go. So let's go to this one. Oh, yeah, now go back. No. Okay. So five rev string dot c. So this guy is almost the same thing. So as you all know, hey, what's wrong with this guy now? Why are you guys just doing anyhow? Why is this thing just misbehaving? Okay. So this is the prototype given, right? And then so we declared an integer and a character. Okay. So what happened is this length will print the length of the string because I didn't want to use string length. Okay, so I created it myself. So this one, the length would help me save the length of the string, right? So that's what this one does. Okay, so I use the while loop. Okay, so all this place from here to here is just to get the length of the string. Then we have I and temp. So I is for this for loop. Okay, temp is like a temporary stuff to store. You remember that first second task we did that we gave a the value of c and then we gave b the value of a and then like that. Okay, so that's what we did with temp. Okay, since this we are going to be saving some character, right? I think it's character with the prototype. Yeah, as you can see, the prototype says char, so that's why we choose char. Okay, so it's pointing to char, so we want to do that. So what we then do next, or what I then did next, was that I created a for loop, okay, and say I is equals to 0, I is less than length. So basically what we did is okay, um well, yeah, I was explaining something here. I think it was this one I was explaining. So when we have four character here, okay, so when you divide it by two, hmm, so the length is 4. When you divide the length by 2, you get 2, right? Okay, so what I did is I is 0. So as long as I is less than the length divided by 2. So if the length is 4, for example, 4 divided by 2 is what? Is 2, right? So as long as this one is I is less than 2, okay? So it means that this one would run uh, to the middle of the string, right? And then I plus plus. So this thing will run to the middle of the string, right? So we have a temporary stuff that we've created here. So this one equals to si, right? So what we are doing is we are storing that first to the middle. We are storing it into this temp. Okay, you understand? So that go, which is half of this guy, right? Go, we are storing it inside temporary. We are storing the first middle. So if it is this string that we want to copy, if this is half and then this another half, okay, so we are storing this first half inside one particular stuff. Okay, so basically what we wanted to do is once we store it here once we store it here, then we can come back and reveal it at the back, and then the remaining half would reveal it um, backwardly. So basically this temp has stored it, right? So we now said, so since this one now has the value of the first one, so the first one will now have the value of s length, which is if this one is 4, 4 minus I is what? 4 minus, if this one is 2. Okay, so basically this one is 4, but plus the null character to be 5, right? So half of 5 will be 3, right? So um okay, it will be half of 5 will be 2.5. Okay, 2.5 would come back to 2, so it will print this first 2. So this middle will not be printed. Okay, so this first 2 will be printed. So this first 2 will save it in another variable. Okay, so that's what we did. We save that first 2 in another variable. So the one that is supposed to hold that first 2, this first 2, okay, so we now gave it the value of this guy. Okay, so that's what we did here. So we now said it is equals to 5, right, minus 2, and then minus 1, because that one is the null, right? So this one will now be si will now be 2 as well, right? So we now said this guy, the remaining part equals to this guy. So we've given this guy the beginning, and then we gave this beginning the end. So basically if you just read on this now, it would be more, I don't know, easy or easier for you to grab. But basically that's it. I think if I'm able to write, it would have been better so that you can understand more. But for now, basically that's just it. So in order not to waste our time, let's go to the next task. And then half of the lies they tell about me are untrue. Half of the lies. Okay, all lies will not be true, definitely. So write a function that prints every other character of a string, starting with the first character followed by a new line. So if you look at this guy now, when they pass this string to it, you might not understand, but when you look at this thing to help you understand. So when I checked it, I saw that it printed the first one. He didn't print the second one. He printed the second one, the third one. He didn't print the fourth one. So it was printing every like kind of even number, right? From 0 to 2. Okay, so that's what I used to solve it. Okay, so to print all the even number or the numbers that are divisible by 2. Where is that guy? Yes. Okay, so I think that one is 6. Okay, So for this 6, we have include main dot h, right? So we have the string, and then we have I to for the follow. So would this one is for the length of the string, right? So we get the length of the string, okay? So it's saving I, okay? So if the length of the string, hmm, that we've gotten now, if the length is probably 12, is would divide 2 and equal to 0, because if you look at these guys, okay, 2 divided by 2 is 1, remember what, 0. 4 divided by 2 is 2, remember what, 0. 6 divided by 2 is what, 2, remember what, 0. 8 divided by 2 is what, 4, remember what, 0. So basically, you're going to have uh, something divisible by 2 and modulus 2, and it's going to give you 0. Okay, so that's it. And then yeah, so um, we have, sorry about that, someone is just, so we have I modulus 2 equals, so any if the value generated every time I is being done, we divide 2 to give you 0, then print that value, okay, and then print the new. Okay, so that's what we just did there. Okay, good. So this one, it says write a function that prints half of the string followed by a new line. So this is the prototype, right? And we have to print half of the string. And then if you look at this guy, it didn't print this guy, and it printed this guy. So we can use that format that we did, divide it by 2, and then print the rest, right? We just minus the null, right? I think with that it will work. Okay, so uh, back to where is it? Where is this guy? Okay, okay. So we have, where is the pointer? Which task is this? Number 7. Okay, all right. So basically, we have our stuff, right? So I declared length, and then I declared one to hold half, and then I will go through probably a particular loop, right? Like this I loop, right? So this one I use it to declare the string length, right? So len is now holding the string length, right? So half, then I said half now is equal to len minus 1, because I want to remove the length would have the null, right? So I'm removing the null character from it, and then I divide it by 2, okay, to get the exact half that I need to print. Okay, so for I is now equal to half plus 1. Okay, I think probably because maybe I'm not supposed to minus it here, because this one does not contain this null actually. Okay, but if we are using string length, I think it's going to contain it. Okay, so half will now be this guy divided by 2, then we'll get the value of half, right? Then, so what do? We want to print the value of the remaining half, right? So for I equals to half, so if this guy is, the length is 10 already, right? If it is 10, so 10 divided by 2 will give us 5, right? Okay, so we want to start from 5 and print upward. So we are giving I the value of 5, and then saying that as long as I is now less than 10, you should keep looping through. So if you do that, it's going to print this. I hope you understand, and I'm very sure you would. Okay, so let's go to the next question. If you have any question, just let me know in the comment section. Okay. So good. So this one, number 8, which is the ninth one, and then this one says write a function that prints n element of an array of integer. It will print the elements, n elements of an array of integer. So this one is this is pointing to the array. Okay, so this one is the numbers of integer that are inside that number of elements of the array is here. Number of elements of the array to be printed. Okay, so write the function that it will print the number of elements of an array. Okay, so look at an array that has 5 elements, for example. Okay, it has 5 elements. Okay, but this array, right, is being pointed to by this other one. This a is pointing to that array, right? So with that a, we can manipulate whatever is inside here. We can print everything that is here out. Okay, so that n is that 5. Okay, so they're going to give you 5 or something, right? They're going to give you, so based on that n, you print it 5 times or something. You understand? Okay, so this one now, they've said all the array is now 0 to, this is 1 2 3 4 5, right? 5 elements, and this is what they held. So it says that you should be able to print it followed by comma and space, right? So that's what it says, comma and space, right? You are allowed to use printf, so we can use printf. So if you are using printf, it means you have to use standard io.h, right? Okay, so let me see. So 8 are not, so 8 print array.c. um I still have like a video to do for another cohort right now, and I still haven't done the next task. Okay, it's okay. So okay, as you can see, we have standard IUH because we actually use printf. Yeah. So what are we doing here again? Print number of an array. Good. Okay. Good. So we declare this I. This I is to go through this a loop, right? So this one is for, is this for length? No. Okay. Good. So we said as I equals 0, I is less than n, right? Because um, we are going from 0. If we are going from 1, we can say I is less than or equal to n. But because we are going from 0, we've escaped one character. Okay, so if it is 4 4 and this one n is 4, right, it means this one will go 0 1 2 3 4. You understand? So that's already 5 times. Okay, so that's why we give this one. So we want to go as long as n is based on the value of n, you should print ai. So it will print a1 first based on n, so it's going to keep printing, right? Okay, so this one will help it print the value. So if I, so this one wants to now, this one is just for everything we need, right? So this second one is for the space and the comma. So since we are using printf, we can do it once. Okay, if we are using put char, we have to do it twice. Okay, and then I use printf to do new line here. So what is the argument to give it before you can print comma and space? If you look at it very well, you see that comma space comma space comma space until only the last one will not have comma space, right? So we'll use that as an argument and say if I is not equal to n minus 1 is what? If n is 5 before, 5 minus 1 is 4. So if our, if 4 is if it is 4, then it will not print it, right? So that's what we just said. If I is not equal to 4, you should keep printing this thing. So it's not at 0, it will not be equal to, at 1 is not. So once it's 4 4, then it won't print it, then it will just come back and print a new line. Okay, so that's it. I think that explains it. Okay, so the next one, string copy. Okay, so I did this one third deadline, which is today, I guess, before I moved out. Okay, so I was just doing it slowly. One thing you should try and do is try and normalize not not meeting up deadline. Okay, because when you try and do things during deadline, you end up not knowing them in depthly, and you end up not reading enough. But try to still meet up the deadline. So what I do is I do like two. Like now, I'm still going to try and do like two tasks in the deadline. Okay, so you do two, like two, three in the first deadline, two more in the second deadline, then you can extend to the third deadline, and then I think you'll be good. Okay, so just do that, and I think since to after today's task, you're not going to have any tasks for a few days. So we could try and see if we can go through what we've done so far. Okay, so back to this guy. So this one say write a function that copies the string pointed by the src. So this one is pointing to one string, this one is pointing one string, right? So this one is like pointing to, you can use it to denature one string, you can use this one to denature another string, right? This one is already pointing to different strings. So this one is src, that copies the string pointed by src. This one is pointing to one result containing, including the terminating null by, so you are going to include this guy to the buffer pointed by this. So you are putting this guy to this guy. Simple. So it should return this guy. So you're going to have a return type which is a character, right? String copy does it. Okay, it's going to copy one string to another string, right? And if you go to the main.h, which is used to test, this one contains s1 contains 98, right? Character 98 stuff, right? So s1 contains this guy, and then when they printed printf s1, and then they copied ptr, now is containing this guy rather. Okay, so ptr is containing this guy, so they copied this guy to ptr. So when they run it, I think you have this thing printed twice. As you can see, it's printed twice, saying that the first one is S1, and then they've copied S1 into PTR here, okay, with the function that you are going to create. Okay, so that's what this guy is going to do. So 9 string copy. So let's go here and go down. 9 string copy. Okay, good. So this one is quite short, and let's go to it. So we have I, and then this one will just create our our what's it called, our string length. Okay, but in another way, it says that, oh, bless you, thank you. Anyway, so we have I to be equals to 0. So src, which is, we are trying to go through all the content of src. So we are going from 0 to till it gets to the null. Okay, okay, but we don't want to print the, we don't want to exit null because we can't stop it after the null. Okay, remember that we are to print null as well, but we still said you should just go and get everything that is inside it, right? It's going to print it out. Okay, so we're now saying all those things that is inside, give it to dex1. Okay, give it to dex1, and at the end, dex1 collect a null to end it. Okay, and then return text. So with that, it is gone. It's gone. It's all gone. And then we are good. These codes were like perfectly fabricated. Like there were a lot of stress going on with them. Okay. So this one, I'm tired. Great leaders are willing to sacrifice the numbers to save the people. Blah blah blah. How am I reading all this? So this one is 100 at toy.c. Oh, we have two left. Okay, good. So this one says write a function that convert a string to an integer. Okay. So for example, if you have so this actually particular one, I created a kind of um, program that does that, but it worked for some and it didn't work for some, in the sense that when I compiled it, I got this output. Okay, I got all these outputs, but I think um, I got this one, but this minus 98, mine was just 98, and I think this one was minus 402 as well. Okay, so it wasn't that I actually this guy actually took my time, like took like 6 hours of my time trying to maneuver it. Actually, I eventually got one. Okay, I got a code that worked, and I asked AI to explain it. So I haven't gone through the explanation, but I'm going to go through it with you. So basically, I'll explain how this guy works, so you can try it on your own as well. Okay, and it's very nice. It is called a toy. This a toy will do the function for you normally. So you have to create a function that acts as a toy. Okay, so remember a string will contain like a word like this, right? Okay, so what if it is containing an integer, right? As you can see, this one is containing an integer 98, a string containing 98. So it should just return that 98 to you. Okay, if this one is minus 402, you should return that minus 402. So the first thing I did was when I did the normal one is to know if when where is that string again? I think it's just one. Yeah, if s0 is minus, okay, so I created a variable for that guy. Let me see underscore. This other one I created is kind of hard to explain. It's kind of hard to explain. But the first one I created was so nice, so simple, so creative, and so sweet. Okay, so basically we created a multiplier. Is that a multiplier? This one is a multiplier. This one is the count. This one is the size. This program sounds weird for me, but anyway, what I did is this first guy, okay, the minus sign, to first check if it's a minus sign. So I think this guy actually fucked me up. I didn't. I'm just noticing this guy now. And what is this? Just minus, 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 plus. I think all these guys will have to minus themselves, and then mine resulted to positive for this guy, and I don't like it anyway. But this code actually worked. This one I'm showing you now. So let me just show you so you can see. So basically that's it. Okay, okay. Mm, oh, it's longer. Okay, so basically this is it, right? So we have okay. I think I used AI to open it here, and then let's just read through it. Okay. So this code is an implementation of the atoy function, which converts a string to integer, right? Let's go through the code step by step. The thing is, there are so many rules here that you have to follow, but they are not too much. Okay, so it says that the number in the string can be preceded by an infinite number of characters. You need to take account of the minus and plus sign before the number, and there are no numbers in this. If there are no numbers, you should return zero, and all these ones you don't need them for now, right? So these four basic things, or this, yeah, four basic things you need them. Okay, so basically we have this, and then it says we have this, right? and then we declare some variable unsigned integer, right? Because we want to store a lot of numbers, right? So unsigned integer will allow the integer to store a lot of positive numbers, right? Remember, we still need negative, right? But forget that for now. There's a program that helped us add negative to it. Okay. This function takes a pointer to a string s, right? So there's a string called s, and then this is the pointer to it, right? You declare the several variable count, size, oi, pn. So we have all these variables, right? Count as 0, size as 0, oi as 0, pn as 1, and it's only I, which will be for a loop that does not have anything yet. So count is used to iterate through the character of the string. So count is like that string length that we were doing, right? Size keeps track of the number of digits encountered in the string. So size would keep track of digits. So we want to print only digits, in the sense that if in cases where we don't have digits, look at this guy, suit 402, it will only print this 402 out. And as you can see, we have it here. Okay, it will neglect those characters, it will print 402. There's a proper way to explain this function to you, but when I implemented it, like I told you, there were some that didn't work, but that's the best, that's the standard way to actually explain it. Okay, all right. So back to this guy, and he says this one pn is used to positive and negative, right? Is used to track the sign. Okay, so we'll track the sign. M is multiplier and I is for a loop, right? So this one, the while loop transfer the string onto the not so this one would actually um, plus count. Where is that count? Count is 0, right? So we're saying that this one is for the other loop, the length, right? So if check, it checks if the size is greater than 0, indicating that at least one digit has been encountered. Okay, and if the current character is not a digit, if these conditions are met, it breaks out of the loop. This is done, and this is done to handle cases where non-digit character appears after initial digit of the string. So basically, how will I explain this guy? I wish there's something, probably on an online class, I'm going to explain this guy thoroughly to you. But basically, we get, I think this one gets the sign. Okay, so it's going to check if the first character is equal to dash, and then it's going to, the way this guy did it anyway, it's going to multiply that positive and negative, right? The sign is 1 already, so 1 times minus 1, if it is negative, to give you minus 1. So it will represent it with minus 1. I wrote this syntax down in order to explain it well, but basically that's it. Let me just give you an idea. This idea is not too much, but at least it's just something. So this one would, all the strings inside, okay, we are going to use ASCII to print them out, right? So we know we only want to print numbers out. So anytime it's, so this guy here is going to, wait, let me see, where's that guy converting? I think they didn't convert here. Okay, so basically what we do is we get a converter, right? We minus the value inside that string with a 0, right, in quotes like this, and it's going to transcribe or translate that ASCII number to a real number, right? So we are going to put a parameter that as if it is not equal to, if that string value is not equal to 0 to 9, then it should not print it. But if it is 0 to 9, it should print it because we need it, right? So it's going to keep on printing all those numbers, and then it's going to multiply it with the pn, right? Um, which is the, as you can see, to multiply the answer with the pn, which is the positive and negative, right? Which will then give us the answer. But basically, that's just what happens there. So you can just go through it. I haven't really gone through this guy. The one I gone through didn't work 100%, so it's worked like 85% or 90%. So so that's why I'm not showing you that one. Okay. So this is the kind of one I used. Yeah. So for this last one, it says that create a program that generates random number. Okay. So you are supposed to know this s round, round, and time. Okay. And then this guy I didn't check. So read about them. Okay. So you don't have to pass Betty Star, even though I passed Betty Star, and then you still need to pass Betty Dock Star. That's the Edafra, right? So if you look at this guy, it contains one, two, three, four, I think maybe 16 or something characters, right? When they executed it. So you have to create something that will generate random numbers. Okay. This round will generate random numbers. Okay. But the thing is, with rand, it has a syntax already, in the sense that when you keep executing it, the random number has a repeating pattern. Okay. So if you execute it now, and probably you say you should generate five random number consecutively, and you generated 1, 2 billion, 7 billion, 8 billion, 10 billion. Okay. When you repeat the execute it again, it's still going to repeat that same value it gave you before. So in order not to do that, you use this time, you pass it inside the time. Okay. So srand will help you generate it, rand will help you print it. Okay. So srand will help you generate, rand will help you print it, and time will make that repetition to change based on the difference in time, because your time is changing all the time, right? So that's the best way I can explain it to you. And then let's just go through the code. I think this code is quite simple, but it's technical. Okay. So let's go here. Okay. So for this guy, I need water. I need to go and take water after this. Let me just be fast. It has disconnect. I don't know what to do to you. It has connected back. That's what it opens. Okay. So what is this guy opening for me? I think I pushed the okay, I pushed the execution. That's the last one, so I wasn't paying attention. Alright. So for if you are using the time function, you include this time.h. If you are using the extra, you include standard library.h, right? Okay. So alright. So yeah, this is the code. It's not that much, right? Alright. So you put your header, the signature, right? And then okay. So what we did is srand, right? I said srand will generate random number, but it's going to be the same. So we passed it into another function inside the function, which is time, and then we initiate it to be null. I think there's you can pass it some parameter, but for now we just initiate it to be null. So you can just read about why it is null for now. Okay, good. So because we want it to be able to print character only, okay, we don't want it to print numbers as well. We want it to be character kind of password, right? So we know that character can hold up to for positive side up to 128, right? 127, 128 something. So we are saying that we declare two character, right? Two variable, int and character. So we said that C equals to rand open bracket percent 128, right? So this modulus 128, it means that it will not be, the remainder will not be more than this 128. You're using 128 to divide because 128 will be able to store the value of C will be able to handle them, and we can print C. C will only print from 0 to 128, right? So that's what we're doing. Okay, so we are using it to divide, and then this sum will keep holding the value generated by this guy. Okay, we keep holding it, we keep holding it. Okay, so while sum is 0, 0 is less than this number. Okay, so we are saying that it should keep going, it should keep going through this loop as long as it's this, and then the number we want to generate is 2772, right? And then sum has gone to up to this guy. So we said that in order to get the remaining number that we need, I know this thing might sound somehow, but in order to get the remaining number, then we subtract 2645 from this guy, and then it's going to give us the remaining number. So whenever we print this guy right here, this remaining number will then be added to it. Okay, so basically that's it. You can copy this code, put it to AI, and then it's going to explain one more time to you. And the last one, I think those ones are the challenging ones. And any other one, I think that will be all for now. And don't forget to subscribe. There's this stuff I wanted to share, and it's going to allow you probably just make some random money for free. I'm looking forward to creating a YouTube video for that. It's very nice. But anyway, I'll look onto that and see you. Don't forget to like the video so that it can come up on the ranking. Okay, so see you in more. Is it more Harris, more pointers, right? All right, see you. Bye.